What if I told you that one of the most powerful things you can actually do for your own health, your own happiness, isn't about, the usual self-care routines?
Okay, I'm listening. What is it then?
It's actually about helping someone else, like really engaging in selfless acts.
Interesting. You're saying being selfless is good for the self. Sounds a bit like a paradox.
It sounds counterintuitive, right? But imagine this. These acts, they might literally add years to your life. Sharpen how you see things, fundamentally change how your brain experiences joy.
Okay, that's a big claim. Adding years to your life just by helping out.
It seems that way. We're about to really dig into some fascinating research that reveals this surprising power of giving.
Right. It's definitely a shift from how we normally think, isn't it?
Right.
Usually it's all about, looking out for, number one, personal gain, driving well-being.
Yeah, the narrative's always been individual achievement.
Yeah, the science from neuroscience, psychology, it's painting a much more interconnected picture, this deep dive. It's not just about being a good person.
It's more fundamental than that.
Yes. It's about understanding altruism itself, its roots, how deeply it's wired into us, and its massive impact on our own life satisfaction. We're looking at the real benefits for the giver.
That idea that our own fulfillment, our deep satisfaction, might actually be found in making others happy, that's quite a thought.
It really is.
So for you listening, have you ever seriously considered that? That the key to your own happiness might lie in actively helping others?
It challenges a lot of assumptions.
Our mission today, then, is to cut through all the noise and find those key nuggets of knowledge, to really show you the deep joy, the lasting satisfaction in giving back.
We want to show how generosity isn't just, a random good deed here and there.
Right. It's fundamental, a driver of our own well-being and even society's well-being, too.
Think of this as your shortcut to really getting informed on this powerful, maybe overlooked key to happiness.
Okay, so we've mentioned this word altruism, this selfless concern for others. But to really grasp how it helps us, we need to nail down what we mean. What exactly is altruism? Is it just being nice?
That's the perfect place to start. Because, the word gets thrown around. At its core, altruism is about selfless concern for the well-being of others. Simple as that.
Selfless concern.
Right. It's a moral practice focused on the happiness of other people. Sometimes, even if it costs you something in the short term. The word itself actually comes from the Italian altrui.
Altrui.
Yeah, meaning of others or other people. It really captures that outward focus. Now, psychologically speaking,
there's a specific definition.
Yes, we define it as a motivational state. Your goal, your primary motivation is to increase someone else's welfare. And here's the really key part.
Okay.
It's seen as a disinterested action, meaning you do it without expecting anything back. No personal gain, no compensation, not even necessarily a direct thank you or return favor.
So it's not like I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine.
Not necessarily, though. That's a related concept we can touch on. But pure altruism, in theory, is disinterested. Think about a parent, right? Pouring time, energy, money into their kids.
Yeah, often sacrificing their own stuff.
Exactly. Without expecting a direct, tangible return on that investment. That's a powerful, everyday example. Or, someone stopping to help a stranger change a flat tire, they'll probably never see that person again.
Right. No obvious benefit to them.
It's driven by wanting to help, wanting to ease someone else's burden, not by calculating personal reward. It's an inner drive.
It's fascinating, that outward focus, especially when, like you said, so much tells us to focus inward on self-care, personal goals.
Right.
So if altruism is about others' happiness, how does that energy, that outward focus, somehow loop back and boost our own deep need for life satisfaction? How do those connect?
That connection is exactly what makes the research so compelling. And life satisfaction, let's be clear, isn't just feeling happy for a moment.
It's deeper than that.
Much deeper. It's a sustained state. We define it as like a good or satisfactory condition of existence. It involves health, happiness, prosperity, sure, but it's also a conscious cognitive judgment.
You mean how you think about your life overall?
Exactly. It's your personal assessment of how things are going, considering everything, your environment, your abilities, your choices, your nature. It's not just about living a long time.
It's about the quality of those years.
Precisely. How meaningfully you live them. Are you achieving things that matter to you? Is your life fulfilling? It's that sense of looking back and feeling content, feeling like it's been a life well lived.
And the research we looked at really hammers this home, doesn't it? That this link between giving and our own satisfaction isn't just like a nice thought, it's real.
It is. There's a significant, measurable, positive correlation. The more altruistic people tend to be, the higher their reported life satisfaction. It holds up in study after study.
Not just a theory, then. It's actually verified.
Absolutely. And what's really striking is how robust that link is. When you actively cultivate altruistic love, compassion, it directly leads to being more fulfilled, genuinely happier.
It transforms things internally.
It really does. Think about it. When we feel in harmony with others, with the world, when we're contributing positively, our lives feel richer, more purposeful. There's a sense of belonging.
Which combats that feeling of isolation, maybe.
Exactly. Selfishness might give you a quick win, a fleeting pleasure, but it often leads to feeling disconnected, happiness fading. Altruism, on the other hand, genuinely changes the quality of your life, even your long-term goals.
It shifts your whole perspective.
Right. From scarcity to abundance, maybe from competition to cooperation.
Yeah.
And that leads to a deeper, more sustainable well-being. We see this even in studies with teenagers. Those who engage more in helping behaviors report higher life satisfaction. Seems pretty universal.
So it really comes down to realizing that what you give is just as important, maybe even more important for your own happiness than what you get.
That seems to be the message the science is sending us.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me, the biology. What's actually going on inside our heads and our brains when we decide to help someone? Because it feels good, right? That helper's high people mention. Is that just a feeling, or is there something tangible happening?
Oh, it's very tangible.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how our brains are literally wired to reward us for generosity. Neurobiologists have actually watched this happen.
Watched it? How?
Using brain imaging, like fMRI. When someone performs an altruistic act, the pleasure centers in their brain, the same areas that light up for things like food or other rewards, they become active.
So it's a real, measurable, biological response.
Exactly. It's not just a metaphor. Your brain releases a whole cocktail of neurochemicals when you act generously.
Like what?
Well, first, there's dopamine. That's the classic reward chemical associated with pleasure. You get a surge, and that's the immediate high part of the helper's high. It feels good, so you want to do it again.
Reinforces the behavior. Makes sense.
Then you get endorphins. These are your body's natural painkillers, but they also elevate your mood. They contribute to that feeling of well-being, even euphoria sometimes.
Ah, like a runner's high, but from helping.
Sorta, yeah. And crucially, there's oxytocin. People often call it the love hormone or the cuddle chemical.
Right, involves in bonding.
Deeply involved in bonding, trust, social connection. When oxytocin is released, it helps foster empathy, strengthens our social ties. It makes us feel more connected to the person we helped, and maybe even the community at large.
So it's a feedback loop. Give, feel good, feel connected, want to give more.
Precisely. It's like our biology is gently nudging us towards being pro-social, towards looking out for each other.
But it can't all be brain chemistry, can it? There must be other reasons, psychological drivers, social pressures, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. The brain chemistry is powerful, but it's only part of the story. There are definitely other layers.
Like what else makes us help?
Well, there are cognitive reasons. Sometimes we help other people simply to make ourselves feel better.
How does that work?
It's called the negative state relief model. Basically, seeing someone else suffering in pain, in distress, can make us feel distressed, uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's hard to watch sometimes.
Right. So by stepping in and helping, we reduce our own internal discomfort. It relieves our negative state. Plus, helping reinforces our self-image.
How so?
We like to think of ourselves as kind, empathetic people, right? Helping others aligns our actions with that positive view of ourselves. It makes us feel good about who we are.
Validates our values.
Exactly. Then there's something really profound, the empathy-altruism hypothesis.
Okay, what's that?
This suggests that some altruistic acts are driven purely by genuine empathy, a selfless desire to help someone in need simply because you feel for them.
Even if it costs you something.
Even if it means doing something unpleasant, dangerous, maybe even life-threatening, the compassion you feel for the other person just outweighs everything else.
Like first responders running into danger.
Perfect example. Or someone donating an organ to a stranger. The personal cost is huge, but the desire to help is overwhelming. It's not about getting something back. It's pure concern.
That's powerful.
It is. And then, of course, there are environmental reasons. How we were raised, the community we live in, that shapes our behavior too.
If helping is normal around you, you're more likely to do it.
Definitely. We learn by observing, by participating. If helping is valued and common in your family or social circle, you're more likely to be altruistic.
Yeah.
We are social creatures, after all.
And what about social norms, like societal expectations?
Big influence. Think about the norm of reciprocity.
Tit for tat.
Sort of. If someone does you a favor, you feel kind of obligated to return it, even if it's not immediate or exactly the same thing. It keeps society functioning smoothly.
Creates a web of mutual support.
Exactly. And there's also the norm of social responsibility, the idea that we should help those who depend on us, like kids or the elderly. These norms create expectations that encourage helping behavior.
So it's clear altruism isn't just one thing. It sounds like there are different types, different motivations.
That's right. We can categorize it based on who benefits and why.
Can you give us a quick rundown?
Sure. First, there's nepotistic altruism, or kin altruism. This is helping close relatives, your family.
Like parents helping kids, which you mentioned.
Exactly. From a biological view, this helps ensure your shared genes get passed on. It's evolutionarily advantageous.
Okay, makes sense. What else?
Then there's reciprocal altruism, or mutualism. This is the you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours idea. You help someone with the expectation, maybe implicit, that they'll help you later.
Like neighbors sharing tools or something?
Yeah, or sharing food, knowing they might reciprocate down the line.
Yeah.
It builds cooperative relationships.
Got it. And the last one?
That's group-based altruism, sometimes called generalized altruism. This is helping a larger group or the community.
Like volunteering? Or donating to charity?
Exactly. You might make sacrifices for the good of the whole group, even if you don't get a direct personal benefit or expect anything specific back. It's about contributing to the collective.
And it feels like the common thread, especially for that pure, disinterested kind of helping, is empathy.
Empathy is absolutely fundamental. It's the bedrock.
Define that for us again, quickly.
It's the ability to experience what others are feeling, to feel sympathy for them, and really importantly, to take their perspective, to step into their shoes.
See the world through their eyes.
Right. To feel for them, their joys and their pains. And the cognitive part, understanding your mental state, seems uniquely human and develops as we grow.
And this directly links to acting altruistically.
Strongly. The more empathy you feel, the more likely you are to be motivated to help. And the good news is, empathy isn't fixed.
Oh, you can develop it.
Yes. While we might have baseline tendencies, you can actively cultivate empathy. Things like really practicing mindful listening.
Not just waiting to talk.
Exactly. Trying to understand different viewpoints, even ones you disagree with. Engaging with diverse stories, books, films, even certain meditation practices focused on compassion.
So we can actually train ourselves to be more empathetic and therefore potentially more altruistic.
The evidence suggests we can. It helps move us from just intellectually knowing someone needs help to actually feeling motivated to act.
Okay, this next bit is, well, it really made me stop and think. It flips the script on something we all deal with. Stress.
Ah, yes, the stress connection. It's quite remarkable.
What if, and this is the mind-bending part, what if our beliefs about stress are actually more damaging than the stress itself?
It sounds radical, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially given how much stress people are under. Remember that APA survey from 2012?
Vaguely. What did it find?
About 20% of Americans reported experiencing extreme stress. That's millions of people feeling constantly overwhelmed.
Uh-huh.
And we're always told how bad that is, right?
Yeah, it leads to burnout, health problems, premature death. The usual scary stuff. Stress is the enemy.
That's the standard narrative. But then came this incredible study by Dr. Abiola Keller and her team.
What did they do?
They looked at almost 29,000 people, asked them two simple things. How much stress did you experience last year? And do you believe stress is harmful to your health?
Oh, okay. Straightforward enough.
Then they tracked these people for 8 years, looking at death records, controlling for other factors.
And the results?
They were genuinely astonishing. People who had high stress and believed stress was harmful had a massive 43% higher chance of dying prematurely.
Wow. Okay, that fits what we think we know. High stress plus believing it's bad outcome.
Right. But here's the kicker. The part that turns it all upside down. People who had high stress but did not believe it was harmful.
Yeah. What about them?
They were actually 17% less likely to die prematurely than people who had very little stress.
Wait, say that again. Less likely to die than low-stress people.
17% less likely.
Yeah.
It suggests the mindset about stress was a bigger predictor of mortality than the actual level of stress experienced.
That's huge.
It's profound. The study estimated that over those 8 years, maybe 180,000 Americans died prematurely. Not necessarily from stress itself, but from the belief that their stress was killing them.
So it's not the stress, it's how you think about the stress. Your perception is key.
It appears to have a direct, measurable impact on longevity. Mind over matter, in a very real sense.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. So if our beliefs about stress are that powerful, how does altruism fit into this? Can it protect us somehow?
This is where it gets really practical and hopeful. Another landmark study, this one by Michael Poulin and his team, looked right at this connection.
How did they study it?
They followed about 846 people, asked them two key things. Did you experience a major stressful life event last year, like losing a job, a death in the family, big financial trouble?
The really heavy stuff.
Exactly. And critically, they also asked, do you regularly spend time helping someone close to you, like caring for a partner, helping a friend, supporting children or parents?
Okay, so stress plus helping behavior. What did they find?
The results were incredibly clear. People who went through a major stressor and did not regularly help someone close, they had a 30% higher chance of dying over the next 5 years.
So major stress, unbuffered, really takes a toll.
A significant toll. But, and this is the amazing part, people who experienced major stress but did regularly help someone close.
Let me guess. They fared better.
They showed no increased risk of death compared to those who didn't experience major stress. Zero.
It completely wiped out the negative effect.
That's what the data suggests. The act of giving help, of caring for others, seemed to act as a complete buffer against the increased mortality risk associated with major life stress.
That is genuinely news you can use. Helping others isn't just nice, it could literally be a lifesaver when things get tough.
It strongly suggests that yes. It seems to build resilience. Maybe it changes our physiological response to stress. Maybe it shifts our focus, gives us purpose, strengthens connections. Whatever the mechanism, it seems to protect our health and contribute to longevity, even in the face of adversity.
So giving back isn't just good for the soul, it's good for the body, especially when life throws curveballs.
It seems to be a powerful protective factor.
Yeah.
It changes how we cope, how our bodies respond.
Okay. The stats are compelling, the brain science is fascinating, but, numbers can feel a bit abstract sometimes.
True.
Where this really hits home is in the real-life stories, isn't it? Altruism isn't just a concept in a lab. It's happening all around us. And stories, they just connect with us differently.
They absolutely do.
Yeah.
There's actually a kind of neuroscience of generosity behind why stories are so powerful.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
Research shows that when we hear character-driven stories, especially ones involving compassion or vulnerability, our brains release oxytocin.
Ah, oxytocin again, the bonding chemical.
Exactly. And that release of oxytocin triggers empathy, makes us feel more trusting, more connected to the characters, and more generous ourselves. Our oxytocin levels can even predict how much we might donate after hearing a moving story.
Wow. So stories literally prime our brains for generosity.
It seems so. When we feel that trust, that connection, our motivation to cooperate and give gets a significant boost. It bypasses our purely logical analysis and taps right into our core capacity for empathy and care. That's why human interest stories are so incredibly effective at inspiring people to act.
You make it real, they make it human.
Precisely. They remind us of our shared humanity.
So let's talk about some of those stories. Let's bring these ideas to life with some examples of this altruistic effect in action.
Great idea. Think back to the start of the pandemic. Chaos, uncertainty, shortages.
Yeah, empty shelves everywhere. Scary times.
Well, one story that really stuck with me was headlined something like, "Periods don't stop for pandemics, so she brings pads to women in need."
Oh, wow. I remember hearing about shortages of basic necessities.
Exactly. And while some people could stock up, many women, especially those with low incomes or experiencing homelessness, were suddenly without access to essential menstrual products. A basic dignity.
Something easily overlooked in the bigger crisis.
Totally. But this one woman saw the need. She organized, collected donations, and personally went out delivering pads and tampons to women who desperately needed them. It was such direct human response.
Addressing a critical, immediate need with pure empathy.
Yes. It wasn't glamorous, but it provided relief, dignity, and showed incredible compassion when things felt bleakest. That's altruism meeting a very real, urgent need.
That's a powerful example. What else?
Okay, shifting gears. Think about community-level efforts, like The Graham Academy's work for Autism Awareness Month.
What did they do?
They teamed up with local university students, spread blue ribbons all over town to raise awareness, creating this visible symbol of support.
Nice, a visual reminder.
But they went further. They sold T-shirts, candles, stuff like that, and all the money went to support local initiatives, a Challenger baseball league for kids with disabilities, and a special needs park.
So raising awareness and tangible support.
Exactly. It was about fostering understanding, celebrating perseverance, but also directly funding resources that improve lives right there in their community. It shows that collective action, people coming together for a cause.
Building a more inclusive community through shared effort.
Right. That ripple effect we talked about. And then thinking even broader.
Globally.
Yeah, consider groups like No Dogs Left Behind. Their mission is rescuing dogs from really horrific situations, often the meat trade in different parts of the world.
Wow, that must be incredibly difficult work.
Immensely challenging, emotionally taxing. But it shows altruism extending beyond just humans to compassion for all living beings. It reminds us that the desire to relieve suffering can cross species boundaries.
And the people doing that work must find incredible purpose in it, despite the hardship.
You have to assume so. It illustrates that deep satisfaction that comes from extending kindness, even across borders and species. These stories work because they have impact, human interest, timeliness. They inspire us because they show empathy in action.
They're testaments to the power of caring. So when we see these stories, when these acts become more common, what does that do for society as a whole?
Well, when life satisfaction goes up in a community because people are more altruistic, more connected, it just naturally creates a better environment for everyone.
A rising tide lifts all boats sort of thing?
Exactly. Think about young people volunteering. They gain so much purpose, skills, satisfaction, which improve their lives, reduces isolation, but it also strengthens the community.
Builds social fabric.
Right. It fosters trust, cooperation, collective well-being. A society where helping is common is likely more resilient, safer, more supportive. Empathy becomes a shared value, and that's fundamental for a thriving society. #TagV, cultivating a life of purpose through giving.
Okay, so we've covered why the science, the psychology, the deep satisfaction. We've seen the powerful stories. Now, the big question. What does this mean for you listening right now? How do you actually tap into this? How do you make altruism a real, consistent part of life? Does it have to be some huge, life-altering thing?
Not at all. That's the beauty of it. You don't need to start a global foundation tomorrow to feel the benefits. It really starts with small, conscious choices and shifts in perspective.
Okay, like what? Give us some practical steps.
First, just look for opportunities in your daily life. Really pay attention. Altruism isn't always grand gestures. It's often in the small moments.
Like holding a door.
Exactly. Or letting someone merge in traffic, offering a genuine compliment, asking the cashier how their day is going, and actually listening. Notice when someone might need a hand, literally or figuratively. Be present to those small chances to connect and support. They add up.
Okay, be more aware of the small stuff. What else?
Actively connect with empathy. This takes practice. It's more than just feeling sorry for someone. It's trying to genuinely understand their emotional state.
How do you practice that?
Really listen when people talk. Focus on understanding, not just replying. Ask clarifying questions. Try to see things from their point of view, even if you don't agree. Read books or watch films about lives different from your own. It stretches your perspective.
Broaden your understanding of human experience.
Precisely. Third, really embrace our interdependence. Get it in your bones that we truly are all connected. We're all in the same boat, as the saying goes.
Seeing helping others as helping the whole system, including yourself.
Yes. When you help someone, you're not just doing them a favor. You're strengthening the web we all live in. Shifting from an us versus them or purely individualistic mindset to seeing the collective good is transformative.
Yeah.
It makes helping feel less like a chore and more like investing in a better world for everyone.
That's a powerful mindset shift. Anything else?
Yeah, share your story or listen to others. We talked about the power of narrative, hearing about acts of kindness or sharing your own experiences of giving or receiving help. It reinforces the behavior.
It normalizes it, inspires more of it.
Exactly. It creates this positive feedback loop. It reminds us that these acts matter and encourages us and others to keep looking for those opportunities. So it's about awareness, empathy, interconnectedness, and sharing the positive impact.
None of those sound like huge, overwhelming burdens. They sound like mindful practices.
That's exactly what they are. Consistent, thoughtful actions that build an altruistic habit.
And let's just quickly recap the direct benefits for the person who does this, who makes giving a regular practice. What do they get out of it?
The payoff is huge, really. We've seen the positive brain changes linked to happiness, reduced feelings of isolation, a major issue today, a stronger sense of belonging and connection.
The stress buffering effect, which is incredible.
Oh, like measurably lower stress, fewer negative feelings, and potentially a longer life. Plus, it boosts your credibility, builds trust in your relationships and community.
And gives you a better perspective overall.
Absolutely. When you're focused outward, contributing positively, your own problems often seem more manageable. You develop resilience, adaptability. It's a holistic boost mind, body, and spirit. It fundamentally changes how you move through the world. #OutYourWet.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's just quickly crystallize the main takeaways. What are the absolute must-remembers?
I think number one has to be that profound link. Altruism and life satisfaction go hand in hand. Giving genuinely makes you more fulfilled. It's not just a theory, it's a measurable reality.
Right. It's not just good for others, it's deeply good for you. And second,
that helping others is a powerful tool for your own health, especially resilience. It acts as that buffer against stress, potentially adding years to your life. It's practical self-care through other care.
Self-care through other care. I like that. And finally,
Every act counts. From the smallest kindness, a smile, holding a door to bigger commitments, every single act of service makes a difference. It builds a happier, more connected world for all of us, one act at a time.
it all adds up to create a better collective reality.
Exactly. So maybe here's a final thought for everyone listening to chew on.
Okay, leave us with something provocative.
Consider this.
Yeah.
Maybe cultivating that genuine concern for other people, for altri, as the Italians say. Maybe that's actually the most profoundly self-serving thing you could possibly do for your own lasting happiness and well-being.
Wow. Flip the script entirely. The path to self-fulfillment runs through others.
It might just... So the question becomes, what small, selfless act, maybe just one tiny thing, could you consciously weave into your day-to-day? How could you start unlocking this incredible source of joy and resilience right now?
Something to definitely think about. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the happiness of helping others. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep making a difference.